All right, so this video is about markup, tax, seeing what the client price would be for items, as well as touching on how you can get a summary of the different amounts of money allocated to different types of items. So into the account over here. Now, I've gone ahead and put in just a few rough numbers into some of the lines that I had done in a previous video. One point I always try and make is I'm just putting in numbers that are pretty rough into here. So for the purpose of learning how the software is working, don't worry too much about the dollar figure. The main thing we want to take away is how this is happening and how it's getting done. All right, so first up is markup. Now, there is 3 ways you can do markup. So just to summarize them, if you click markup down the bottom, this is markup across the entire project. Personally, I like this one because I like to be able to go, markup 20%, done. And as I add more items, it just keeps adding 20% to the total. You can also do markup per category, which is this one. I'll go edit, this one here. And that's more useful in the case that your markups will change. So let's say framing you do at 20% and plumbing you do at 15%, and it kind of varies. Being able to grab the whole category and mark it up is very useful. Lastly, you can do markup per line. There are absolutely people who go through every line of their estimate and adjust the markup per line, kind of reflecting how much of a discount they get versus how much they want to add versus just their own experience on where they need extra markup. But to sum this up, I want to give you another example, which is where you can combine different levels of markup. So for example, I've got 20% overall, and that means that this item is already getting 20%. I know that because if I click into this blue number here, which is what I call the sell price, really it's called quote total, it will show me that there's already markup in here and already tax in here. If I was to go, hey, 5% on that, into markup and show breakdown, the point I want to make is if you use multiple of the different markup types, estimate, category, line item, they stack together. I'm kind of highlighting this for 2 reasons. One is it's quite useful to be able to go, everything's 20% except for this thing, which gets an extra 5. And the other reason for mentioning it is to cover the case where people do it by accident and don't realize they're adding more markup. If you win the job, it's not the worst of the problems, but if you lose the job because the price is too high, then it's not a great thing to have happened. In this case, where I've added extra 5%, it could be that this is a subcontractor and I get their price back and it feels low and I just want to add a bit extra to cover myself, or it just could be a good deal and I want to cash in on that and add a bit more money to it. So we'll save that. The next point on this video is around tax. So in Australia, New Zealand, tax is pretty straightforward. It's 10% or 15% on everything. And the cases where we get requests or people using tax-free items aren't as common as in other parts of the world, but we'll go through how to do it. So let's say, I'll just pick this one for now. Let's say this item doesn't need tax on it for whatever reason. The way you would do it is go GST here. Again, using this anything blue you should click on type of rule for Build Exact. You can change it to GST free, and that now means it has no tax on it. One thing to note is because we're taking the estimate total, this one here, into the invoicing for the customer, if you have tax-free items, it means that the overall tax on the job will be slightly less than 10%. So it does have an impact. If you have cases where you do like government work or disability work or things like that, where there are tax exemptions, there are other ways where we can remove all of the tax off the job. So if that is you, it's probably something worth reaching out to support on because we can turn tax off for your whole account or even just estimate by estimate. I'm going to turn the tax back on for that and go save. Lucky last, the item type breakdown. So we briefly touched on this in the intro to the estimate costing screen video. Really just to say, if you go like there and show type breakdown, it's going to give you a summary of what's material labor, what's subcontractor, what's etc. You can do that per item. You can do it per category and just click a whole bunch of categories and do the same thing. If you just want to see the whole breakdown for the project, you can do it down here. And the reason for including this in this particular video is just a reminder that as you're going through, where was flooring? As you're going through and adding markups and taxes, if you are intending to see this breakdown, it's required that you're on top of updating this box as well. And this is just what we use to then give you that breakdown of cost. Hope that helps. As always, let us know if any questions come up. Thank you.